everyone. After typing out some lengthy instructions for this exercise, I thought that I would actually just show a video to show you how to complete this exercise because you're going to use two different websites to do it. The first one that you're going to use is from the Global Footprint Network, which I've had you work with a lot in this module. I actually do work for them. I have a part-time job with them as a research scientist. I work on fisheries research with them, and they are really a great organization. But this first is the Global Footprint Network kind of global map. And so it has all the countries of the world. And there are a couple different tabs at the bottom here. But what you can get when you click on any country, and I'm going to show the United States. You may not use the United States as an example in your assignment, which I will make a note of in your assignment. But basically, when you click on it, you could see a couple of things. They use global hectares, which is an amount of land per person as a way to measure ecological footprint. You really need to worry about if these numbers are higher or they're lower. And so imagine that for all of our resource consumption, the United States has, right, if we have all the resources that we have in the country and we're going to hand them out, we have 3.6 per person. But we actually use 8.4 per person. We use nearly 3 times as much. We've gone down a bit. This is, you can put on this graph, but we're going to be concerned with the latest data, which is 2014. Oops. We use 8.4 per person, right? So we use nearly a little over twice as much, 2.5 times as much as we have, which means we are an ecological debtor, right? So we have very high consumption. We have pretty high biocapacity. This is biocapacity, the resources that we have. But at the end of the day, we are a debtor. And then I'm going to show you Canada. Remember, we had 8.4 was how much we consume. I'm going to show you Canada. Canada is a biological creditor. What that means is they have way more biocapacity per person. They have way more natural resources per person. A lot less people in Canada. And so they have 15.2 for every person. They use 8, so about the same as the US, right? So it's not that Canada is super green, more green than us. It just means that they are an ecological creditor because per capita, they have more natural resources. And again, Canada has a lot less people. What I am more concerned for you to look at, that's always just fun to look at, because if you go to some other countries, and I'm going to give you another example that I'm not allowing you going to use. We're going to use Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia uses a lot less than us, but Saudi Arabia is mostly a desert, so they don't have a ton of biocapacity, so they have to import a lot of their stuff. But basically, red means we're importing a lot of stuff. Green means that we have more than we can use, or more than we are using. But what I want you to do is click on the bottom and go to total ecological footprint. Ecological footprint per person. And so this is a map of how, on average, how much people are using. So we can go back to the United States here. We can see 8.4. We see the same information. But we can see that a place like Saudi Arabia is using less. We can see a place like Somalia is using 1.2 global hectares per person. And so the reason that I want you to engage with this website is because I want you to think about consumption and development. Development is thought of as this single trajectory where everybody is trying to become more like Europeans and Americans and have more affluence, but the fact of the matter is we don't have enough resources for that. So what you're going to do for this assignment is you are going to go pick 3 countries, and you cannot use the ones that I just used, but you can pick 3 other countries. But I will give you the US as an example. So you're going to tell me what is their ecological footprint per person, right? I want to know, and I want to know, are they debtors or creditors? So that minus 4.8, we are a debtor. And then you're going to go to another website about the Human Development Index. And remember I talked about the Human Development Index as a kind of measure of how people are doing based upon education and income and health and life expectancy and a bunch of other variables. And so each country has a score on the Human Development Index. when you come to this page, it's going to look like this. All of these lines equal a country. Generally speaking, you can see like globally, human development is on the rise. There are some outliers here where it's shrinking. Let's see if I can get that. There's Syria, who suffered a civil war. They are, their human development index has gone down. But generally speaking, globally, it's going up. The highest is Norway. The highest score is from Norway. We are somewhere in the top as well. But if you scroll down here, you're going to get to see everybody's human development index score, right? So I want you to go find the country, and I will find the United States. They're all in here in alphabetical order. United States. So for the past year, for 2016, the last year that they have, we are 0.92, right? So we have a pretty high human development index scoring. And so what you're going to talk about in your assignment is this relationship between the Human Development Index, wealth, and consumption. And I will ask you some very specific questions that you're going to answer, but you are going to use these two sites to get the numbers with which you're going to answer those questions.